Hi everyone, it's Kat and welcome to today's video where we are going to be talking about the basics of dissociative identity disorder, or DID. DID is a very complex disorder and there can be a lot of issues with grasping the concepts. So we're going to start off with the very basics today and we're going to answer 3 questions about DID. The first is, what is DID? The second is what causes DID, and the third is how somebody ends up having DID. Okay, starting off with the first question, what is DID? Well, DID actually used to be called multiple personality disorder up until 1994, when they decided that actually it's not a personality disorder, it's a dissociative disorder, and so they renamed it dissociative identity disorder. DID at its very core is a defense mechanism for trauma that a child has experienced very early in life. DID can be very troubling for people to understand fully because it comes from such horrific origins that a lot of people aren't willing to go near it. But it's important that we try to understand people who have DID, why they have it, and how we can help. So, on to the second question. What are the causes of DID? There are 3 main causes of DID that are sort of generally accepted. The first is an innate ability to dissociate to an intense degree. Lots of big words. Let's go back to the start. The innate ability. That means that you were born with it. It is just one of those things like breathing, digesting food. It is just one of those things that you just know how to do from birth. Dissociation is a very normal defense mechanism to stress. It's a very normal reaction. Everybody has it at one point or another. We will have another video on dissociation because there's quite a lot to unpack. It's a bit of a complex part of DID. It's integral to DID, dissociative identity disorder. And the third part of that sentence, to an intense degree. Dissociation is so normal. Everybody does it. If you dissociate, don't panic. That doesn't automatically mean you have DID. It's when you start dissociating a lot, more than normal. That's when it may start causing problems. But again, we'll go into dissociation more in another video. The second cause of DID is repeated episodes of trauma or abuse that occur during childhood. As I said before, at its core, DID is a defense mechanism for trauma. I will explain a little bit later on why it's important that these occur early in childhood. The third cause of DID is having a lack of an emotional, supportive person in your life to counteract the abuse. This is usually what's called your primary caregiver. So normally your mom, but whoever else might be like the core person in looking after you as a child. They might be, unfortunately, they may be someone's abuser. They may also just be emotionally unavailable. They may have depression or some other type of mental health disorder that means that they can't support you in your trauma, which can make your trauma a lot harder to process, to deal with, and that can lead to DID. Okay, the third question, the hardest one. How does someone end up having DID? When you are born, you do not have a single fully integrated personality. You are born with lots of different little bits. You may have a part of your personality for needing food, needing sleep, needing to go to the bathroom, needing to throw a tantrum, you know? Lots of different little bits that will eventually, sort of around the age of 9, 10, 11, something like that, they will form together to be your personality, your identity, who you are. What happens in DID is this process of integrating all your little bits together is disrupted. It's broken. It doesn't happen. What instead happens is you go through horrible, horrific trauma, abuse repeatedly, and you can't cope. So while this is occurring, you dissociate. Your conscious mind pulls away, and your subconscious mind is left to go through the motions, to just kind of exist. Then what happens after that is your mind goes, actually, no, that was too traumatic. We can't cope if we remember that. So a wall goes up between your memory of the trauma and your conscious mind. And this wall stops you from being able to remember it. You can call it an amnesic wall, an amnesic barrier. I visualize it as a brick wall, but whatever, whatever you choose. So when your personality is going to integrate, this wall stops the parts from being able to go together. So you have two separate identities that form independently of each other. And after this happens, more splits can occur if more trauma occurs. If you get very, very stressed out and you just need another alternate state of identity, alternate state of personality, alter. If you need more alters to cope, then they can split off. But without this initial split happening before your personality fully integrates, you will not have DID. Of course, that's not to say that everyone who experiences childhood trauma or abuse will have DID, because you need to have all three of those conditions: dissociation to a high degree, the trauma, and the lack of a supporting caregiver in order to be able to have DID. I say be able to have DID like it's something you'd want. It's not, but we'll go into that in a different video, because that's a lot. So there you have it, guys. Those are the basics of dissociative identity disorder. If you want to do any more research, all of our articles that we've read for this video will be in the description box below. Let us know what you guys think, and we'll see you next time. I hope you have a wonderful day.